Hello everybody, today we are talking about the SOG Terminus XR. This is a D2 blade steel. D2 consists of, right here, 1.5 to 1.6% carbon, 0.9 to 1.1% vanadium, 11.5 to 12% chromium, 0.6 to 0.9% molybdenum, 0.15 to 0.45% manganese, 0 to 0.3% phosphorus, 0 to 0.3% sulfur, and 0.1 to 0.4% silicon. This steel was originally designed as a tool steel and has been used in knives since the 60s or so. It used to be considered a super steel. It still has great edge retention and modern capabilities as well. Not a full stainless steel. I wouldn't trust it in high salinity areas, such as near a beach or anything like that. This knife specifically comes with a mirror polished edge. I have been carrying this thing for a week and smashed it against a couple logs because I was bored carving with it, deep pushing and then prying on the wood. And now we're going to test how the edge held up. This is about the 9th time of taking this video, and I'm taking this just about an hour before I'm supposed to upload it. Okay, so it's just holding it in one spot. Well, how often do you see a factory edge that's been torn to shreds and still acts like that? Definitely great heat treat. I'm super impressed with that. Next, we're going to talk about ergos. This thing's extremely comfortable. I haven't had any hot spots or rough spots when using this thing, but I didn't do a whole lot with it in a single point in time. If you're interested in watching somebody do cardboard cutting for 4 hours, because that's what he does in his live streams, go to Knives I Guess YouTube channel. I'll link that in the description. I believe he's done a video on this before, and he's the one to tell you all about ergos over time. Next, we're going to talk about... what are we going to talk about? The pocket clip. The original pocket clip that these things came with was a stamped steel pocket clip. If you look them up, this knife, if you look it up, you'll probably see that pocket clip on a lot of them. A lot of people complained about it, and I think they completely got rid of it. I don't believe that they use that one anymore. And this is the LTE pocket clip that was on the higher dollar version of this. It is a clip point made of D2, obviously. It is about just a little under 3 inches long, which is my sweet spot in a knife. That's exactly what I'd love to see. Jimping isn't too strong. It'll catch your thumb. It'll hold it there, but it's not going to hurt or anything. The jimping on the flipper tab is quite impressive. It does catch your finger, but it doesn't hurt. For someone like me, I constantly fidget with my knives, and I'm the one to tell you if something like that's going to hurt. I will notice it. There is stepping on this as well. The locking mechanism makes it easy to hold it, pull it back, and when you pull it back, it pushes the blade forward to help with centrifugally deploying the blade, I guess, if that's how you want to put it. These are G10 scales. G10 is a fiberglass that's quite decent for durability, but I wouldn't suggest doing any modification to it with power tools, as fiberglass in your lungs is not a good time. So if you are going to do any modifications to something like this, I highly recommend wearing a respirator, safety glasses, or at least try and do a full face coverage. You do not want fiberglass anywhere. Overall, I highly recommend this knife. If you can get it for $50 or less, that's even better. But the $55 on Blade HQ is not a bad price at all. My only gripe about this knife is the T6 pivot screw. It bothers me because I love to take my knives apart, and you need to put a decent amount of torque on these things to take them off, as well as to put them back in place to have the centering exactly where it was from factory, which this one is pretty dang nice. I'm assuming they use blue Loctite to hold it in place. I couldn't get it loose, and I decided to stop trying before I broke something. When I bought this from the pawn shop that I bought it from, it needed oil in the pivot because it was a gritty opening and it was hard to close. It didn't do any of this smooth action right here. What it did do, however, is stop about halfway. It would go about that far and then stick. And it'd be a terrible feeling when you close it. So for about an hour and a half, I just jammed oil into the pivot in this thing and opened it and closed it until the oil that was leaking out of it was clear instead of covered in grime. Overall, again, great knife. Highly recommend it. If you can afford it, I'd go for it. They do come in multiple colors. The black and brown ones are $5 more than the green and red ones. If it is old stock on Blade HQ, you will get the old pocket clip. I'm sorry if you do. It's terrible. It's about twice as wide as this one and thinner. And it just feels cheap. Send them a message. I'm not guaranteeing that they'll send you a new one. You may have to pay for it, and I hope you don't, because that really was kind of a mistake on their end. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.